Hi, everybody, how are you? Fine? Thank you. Okay, you're welcome one more time in my series of lessons on the English tenses. Okay, as I said before, I promised to talk about tenses in twos. Okay, today I'm gonna talk about two tenses or two more tenses in English. Okay, this time I'm gonna talk about the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. Okay, I'll start with the present perfect simple. The present perfect simple is as you might notice from its name, the present perfect. Okay, or you might conclude that it is a present tense from its name, but it is not a present tense. It is a past tense, but it has some link, some relationship with the present. This is why it is called the present simple. Okay. And the present simple, perfect simple, I'm sorry, is made out of or using the auxiliary have, okay, plus verb in the past participle. Okay, just a note about past participle. As you know, the past participle is a form of the verb in English. Okay, and the verb in English has three forms. It has the infinitive, okay, the past and the past participle. Okay, and you can find these forms of verbs in any textbook. You look at the end of any textbook and you'll find them, and you can take them by heart or just practice them little by little. Okay, so it is made of have, the auxiliary, plus the verb in the past participle. Like, for example, in the affirmative we say I have traveled. Okay, in the negative we would say she hasn't cooked lunch, for instance. And in the interrogative we can say has she played video games. Okay, these are three examples of the present verbs in the form of verbs in the present perfect simple. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the use of the present simple. Okay, when do we use it? Okay, and why in English do we have so many past tenses? Okay, so we have so many past tenses, as I said, because we have so many interaction between actions in the past. This is why English speakers have these tenses. For instance, the present perfect simple can interact with the simple past sometimes, okay, or can take the place of the simple past in some instances. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, the present perfect has some relationship with the present. This is why it is called the present perfect. And we use this tense whenever we have an action that has some link, some relationship with the present. Whether this action starts in the past and continues up to the present, or this action starts in the past, took place in the past and has some effect in the present, and so on and so forth. This is what I'm gonna talk about in detail right now. Just be patient. One of the uses of the present perfect simple is when talking about an action in the past which has no exact time. It is not precise. Okay, so remember in my last videos I talked about the simple past. I said that one of the characteristics of the simple past is we use it when the time of the action is precise, is exact. Okay, with the present perfect, okay, it is used when the time of the action is not precise. In other words, it is used when we want to focus on the action rather than its time, or the time when it occurred. Like, for instance, when I say I have traveled to New York, okay? Here it does not matter when I traveled to New York, but what matters is that I traveled to New York once, or before, or sometime in the past. So here, as I said, this tense can be interacted or can be compared to the simple past. The simple past, we use it when an action is precise in time. Okay, when the time of the action is exact. Okay, while the present perfect simple, we use it, as I said, just to talk about an action that took place in the past. This is the main difference between the simple past and the present perfect simple. We also use the present perfect simple to talk about an action that started in the past and continues up to the present. Okay, Like, for example, when we talk about someone who is a student or who started his career as a student since 2007, for example, and he's still a student now, we say, that person would say, I have been a student since, so here, since, when we precise the time, since 2007, and I'm still a student. So when I say since here means I am still a student. If we said, otherwise, I was a student in 2007. This is different, means I was a student in 2000 and different, and I'm no more a student now. Okay, so with since, we insist on the fact that I am still a student. So here we can use since if we precise the time, but be careful here when I say precise the time. This does not refer you to the simple past when you where we also precise the time in the simple past, but the action is finished. But here it is not finished. We use for if we talk about a period of time. Like, for instance, when I say I've been a student, can you count from 2007? Okay, for 10 years. I've been a student for 10 years. Means since 2007. So this is one of the uses of the present perfect simple. Another use of the present perfect simple is to stress some effect which an action in the past has in the present. Like, for example, I am in front of my house. Okay, I want to open the door. Okay, and when I looked for my keys in my pocket, I did not find them. So I say I have, so here the sentence, I have lost my keys. It does not matter when, yesterday or okay, the action of losing the keys in the past has some effect in the present, which is simply I cannot open the door right now. Okay, so this action took place in the past, but it has some effect in the present. As you see, this is why we use the present perfect. So remember, I told you at the beginning that this tense has a lot to do with, has some friendship in a way with the present. Okay, one more use of the present perfect simple is when talking about past experiences. So past experiences in life in general. Okay, so life is full of experiences. Okay, I might ask you one now, for instance, have you ever, so here we use ever, have you ever in questions, have you ever seen a line? Have you ever seen a line? Okay, if you have seen a line, you would say, I have already seen one. But if you have never seen a line, you would say, I have never seen a line. Okay, so here, this is an example of a past experience. Past experiences are abandoned. Okay, we can talk about many past experiences, like, for example, have you ever visited New York? Okay, if you have visited, you would say, I've already visited New York. If no, you would say, no, I have never, ever. If you want to stress this idea of never visiting, you would say never, ever. So English people do use this expression to stress that idea of never doing something. I've never visited New York. So here, we're talking about a past experience with ever in questions, as I said, and never and already in answers. The next use of the present perfect simple is to talk about an action which took place just recently in the past. Okay, and here we use expressions like recently and just. Like, for example, if I ask you about someone, for instance, if I say to you, have you seen Bob? Oh, I've just seen him in the library. He's there. Okay, so here the action of seeing Bob took place just a few moments, just a short time in the past. So here the indicator of the present perfect is just or recently. Okay, in the recent past, in a way we call it the recent past. This is also another use of the present perfect simple. One more use, that one is very famous, okay, is we use the present perfect with the expression not yet, meaning also that the action is not finished yet. For instance, when I say to someone, have you finished your homework? A mother says to her child, have you finished your homework? Tom would say, no, Mom, I haven't finished my homework. Maybe Tom is very lazy. Maybe he's, between quotes, doing his homework and watching TV, which I do not advise you to do. It's a bad habit. Okay, so these are mainly the uses of the present perfect simple. And one thing you have to stress and one thing you have to bear in mind is that the present perfect simple is a past tense which has a lot to do with the present. Okay, a lot to do with the present. either whether an action takes place in the past and has some effect in the present, or an action takes place in the past and continues up to the present. Okay, all in all, it has a lot to do with the present, as opposed to the simple past, which has nothing to do with the present. It is something that took place in the past and it is finished, okay, once and for all, and that its time is precise and exact. Okay, the second tense I'm gonna talk about here is the present perfect continuous. Okay, so progressive. So whenever you see continuous, means there is some continuity involved in the action, and the verb to be is at play, is there. For the form first, okay, we use the auxiliary have and has with he and she in it. For instance, we say I have plus been, past participle of the verb to be, plus the ing form. For instance, like I say, I have been waiting, okay, or I have been working. Okay, in the negative, we would say we haven't been watching TV, for example. In the interrogative, we would say has he or has she been playing video games? Okay, so these are the three forms of the present perfect continuous. Let's come now to the use of the present perfect continuous. Okay, how much is it different from the present perfect simple, and where do we use the present perfect continuous and not the present perfect simple? For this tense, mainly there is one use. If you remember, we have talked about the use of the present perfect simple, which is that when we want to express an action that takes place in the past and continues up to the present, okay, we use the present perfect continuous in that specific situation, but with a focus on continuity. Like, for example, when I say I am really exhausted, very tired, because look, I am now very tired because I have been working for 2 hours. So here I want to stress that idea of continuity. Okay, working for 2 hours is too long in a way, and it makes me so tired now. Or for example, okay, I'm very, very angry. Okay, I have a rendezvous with my friend. Okay, and we agreed to meet, for example, at 10 o'clock. Okay, and I came at 10 o'clock, came at time. On time, but my friend did not come after half an hour, which is a long time to wait for your friend. Okay, I would say I am really angry now, really angry, because I've been waiting for my friend. So I want to stress that idea of waiting. I've been waiting for my friend for 2 hours. So whenever you want to stress that idea of continuity, it is the present perfect continuous. Okay, or for example, you want to talk about a celebrity, okay, and you say he is, that celebrity, very famous because he has been working. Okay, you want to stress this idea that he has worked a lot. He has been working on cinema and on movies, okay, for 20 years. Okay, so 20 years is quite a lot of time to work on any field. Okay, so whenever you want to stress that idea of continuity, it is the present perfect continuous. I'm sorry. Okay, so to recapitulate, we have talked today about two tenses, okay? The present perfect simple, okay, and the present perfect continuous. The present perfect simple is a tense which is a past tense, okay, but it has some link with the present, and I've talked about these instances when we use the present perfect simple to express many actions, and I tried at the beginning to contrast the present perfect simple with the simple past, and I said that the present perfect simple is a tense which has to do with the present, and we use it also when an action in the past takes place, and we don't care about when. exactly it takes place, but the present, the simple past, I'm sorry, we use it to talk about an action that took place in the past and its time is so here I put some focus on the time of the action. And I tried also to contrast the present perfect simple with the present perfect continuous. Okay, and I said that they can overlap. One of them takes the place of the other. Only when we want to stress that idea of, in one use, that idea of an action which takes place in the past and continues up to the present, and we want to stress that idea of continuity. Here we use the present perfect continuous. If we don't care about continuity so much, we use the present perfect simple. Okay, I hope I have made clear the difference between these two tenses. Okay, and I invite you to look at my videos together and try to depict that difference between all the tenses we have been talking about so far. Simple past, past continuous, present. Okay, and especially the past tenses, because these tenses tend to make a lot of to create a lot of confusion for students. Okay, this is why I'm trying to give them intuits in a way to show you the difference between these tenses and how to use them. Okay. In the coming videos, I hope I will be able to be a little bit practical and use a blackboard or a whiteboard and try to explain and give examples and give exercises if possible. Okay, but for the time being, let's suffice what we are doing and try to profit from it. Okay, I hope I have finished, and I promise that I will come back with something new. Okay, I'm focusing in these videos on tenses because I want to finish with them and move to something else. Okay, just be patient with me, and you will profit, I'm sure, or we make advantage a lot from this, from your channel, The Linguists. Okay, and I hope that we will be following me and will be subscribing in the channel, so as to I'll be able to be present, to present okay, and new things and profitable things for you. So thank you so much. If you like the video, please strike a like, and if you like the channel, as usual, strike subscribe, and I'm here with you, and thank you so much, and don't forget that together we can. Thank you so much.